All right, let's talk about modern dating. But we're going to toss out all the usual advice for a minute. Instead, we're going to look at it through this really fascinating and maybe a little provocative economic lens. And trust me, it might completely change how you see every single interaction you have.
You ever been in that spot? You know, that frustrating, unbalanced feeling in dating where it seems like you're the one putting in all the effort? It really can feel like you're playing a game where nobody ever told you the rules, right?
Well, the source material we're digging into today offers a pretty radical answer. What if modern dating isn't just about chemistry and feelings? What if it's an economy, an invisible marketplace where the real currency isn't money or good looks, but something way more personal, your attention?
Okay, so let's unpack that. An invisible economy for dating. What does that actually mean when you treat dating like a marketplace?
Well, in this framework, pretty much every interaction is a transaction. Think about it. That first text you send, that's an initial investment. A like on a social media post, that's a little microtransaction. And planning a whole date, whoa, that's a major expenditure of your capital. The idea here is that we're all trading all the time, whether we even realize it or not.
Okay, so if dating is an economy, then what are we trading with? What's the actual currency? Well, this framework proposes one single, really powerful answer: our attention. And this is really the core of the whole idea. Attention currency. It's not just, looking at someone. It's so much more. It's the validation you give them, the mental energy you burn trying to craft the perfect text, and of course, the actual time you spend just thinking about them. It's a resource, and it's finite. And in this economy, it's supposedly the most valuable thing you have.
And here are some super clear examples of what spending your attention looks like. I mean, we've all done these, right? Sending the first text is like making an opening bid. Liking their social media posts, that's a small deposit. Planning a date, a big one. Even orbiting, just watching their stories without actually saying anything. That's like keeping a stock on your watch list. And yeah, even just thinking about them, that counts as a huge investment of your personal attention.
All right, now this is where the theory gets really interesting. Because just like any other economy, this one isn't equal. Not at all. The source material points out this huge disparity that basically creates two kinds of players in the game: those with attention abundance and those in attention poverty.
So let's break down these two sides. On one hand, you've got attention poverty. Now, this doesn't mean you're not valuable. Not at all. It just means your attention is super focused, invested in maybe one person. Because it's so focused, it's scarce, which makes it feel incredibly valuable to you. You're basically the investor. Then on the other side, you have attention abundance. This is when you're getting validation from lots of different places. So any single bid for your attention, well, it just doesn't feel as valuable in comparison.
So let's dig a little deeper into this abundance idea. The framework is really clear. This isn't about one person being better or more attractive than another. It's purely about market dynamics. It's about having lots of different streams of validation coming in at once, kind of like a diversified investment portfolio.
So where does all this attention wealth even come from? Well, according to this framework, it's built right into modern life. You've got a constant flow of dating app matches, likes and comments on social media, DMs sliding in from all kinds of people, those orbiters we talked about, and the source even points to validation from platonic friends. All of this stuff adds up to a huge surplus of attention.
And then on the flip side, you have attention poverty, which is really all about focus. It's when you're directing all of your attention toward just one person. Your whole mental and emotional stock is tied up in that one single investment. From your point of view, it becomes this incredibly high-stakes, super high-value asset.
So, what happens when these two people meet? The person in attention poverty and the person with attention abundance. Well, this framework argues that what you get is an automatically inherently unbalanced exchange.
Okay, so you have one person, right? And they're offering up their most valuable, concentrated resource, which is their very scarce attention.
And they're offering it to someone who's already swimming in attention, right? Theirs is plentiful, it's diversified, it's coming at them from all over the place.
The result, it's what the source calls an asymmetrical value exchange. And the key phrase here is perceived value. The person giving their focused attention feels like their investment is a huge deal, but the person receiving it, to them, it might just feel like one more notification, one small deposit among many. So to them personally, it has a much, much lower value.
And this chart is a perfect way to picture what's happening. So let's say you're the investor. The attention you're getting back feels like, I don't know, a 20 out of 100.
But the attention you gave, because it was your only focus, it felt like a 90. See the difference? The whole exchange feels incredibly unbalanced because those perceived values are just worlds apart. It's not about the literal number of texts or minutes spent, it's about the felt significance of that effort. That's the asymmetry, right there.
Okay, so we've laid out this whole economy of likes and DMs and mental energy, but why does any of this actually matter? What's the big takeaway here?
And this is really important. This framework isn't a rule book for how to win at dating. Not at all. Think of it more like a new lens, a mental model you can use to make sense of those interactions that just feel off or confusing or unfair. It gives you a language for that feeling of imbalance we talked about at the very beginning. And understanding this isn't just about explaining your frustration. It can actually help you shift your whole perspective on what you value and where you choose to invest your own precious attention.
You know, there's a quote from the source material that just sums this up perfectly. It goes, "Understanding the market doesn't mean you can control it, but it does mean you're no longer trading in the dark." I mean, how good is that? You can't control the whole system, but you can see how it works. You're no longer just guessing.
So, we'll leave you with one final question to think about. If you look at your own dating life through this economic lens, and you really think about where your time, your energy, and your validation is going, are you being a wise investor